Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome in to the WTIM Information Station. It's time now for the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. We'll get right into it here on the WTIM Morning Show. Today we got Kay Freevert with the Christian County Historical Society. She's a board member over there, and she just does so much for the Christian County Historical Society. How are you doing today, Kay?
I'm great. Thank you, Tim.
Absolutely. Super good to have you in the station. It's our first time meeting here today, and a couple of big things coming up just in a few days here. You got the Quilt Show coming up this Saturday. What's the deal with the Quilt Show?
Well, that is a really special event. Persons in the community and in the surrounding area bring in their quilts, and we display them, and it's a fun time for all of us to see exactly what we have there that day on Saturday. People are starting to bring their quilts already today. They can come from 3 to 7. And we will be there to welcome them. And then tomorrow and Friday, they can come from 10 to 3. And we are going to be working in all the buildings because we have had through the years quilts donated by persons who perhaps their grandmother made a quilt in the 1800s. And we have lots of those quilts that we're going to display in the different buildings. So 1800s already to the present, you're going to get to see those kinds of quilts.
Wow. Okay. So it's going to be a full spectrum of quilts there. You're going to be able to see the history of quilts. Almost.
Absolutely. And there are so many talented people. I mean, it's amazing to me how years ago they had to sew all these quilts by hand. It's just amazing.
Each and every individual stitch in there, you can see it's just fretted over. And I'm sure this is just such a great thing you guys do over there. So you're already accepting quilts today.
Yes.
And admission and registration, you can still apply for this.
Oh, absolutely. Most of the people, the majority probably will be bringing their quilts in, and they haven't called or anything. That's the way it works. And we welcome everybody, but we have had several calls. We're bringing our quilts, and we're glad.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's good people are still bringing in their quilts, even though they're not calling, but it's great you guys are accepting them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we do more. I have to say, we do more accepting them without a phone call than we do with.
Yeah.
So it's great. And it will be wonderful because we have between 40 and 70 quilts every time we have a show.
Wow. There's quite a few, and there's going to be quite a few to walk through. You mentioned that different buildings are going to be opened up to display these quilts. So I know there's a few different buildings over there with the Christian County Historical Society. Which ones are going to be open for that day?
Well, the courthouse where Lincoln presided, and I don't believe the schoolhouse will be open this time, but the courthouse, we will have the wood hall. We have the log house, which is very interesting. I think that's one of my favorites. The Pence building is where people come in, and that's where the quilts will actually be on display, except for those, again, that were donated to the society through the years, and those will be in the different buildings. And the Morrison House, that's really a beautiful home too. So we're looking forward to everybody coming and enjoying what we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I for one, I have not been over to your guys' location. What's the address where people can find this?
It's 325 Abe's Way, almost on the corner of 29 and 48. If you know where the Super 8 is, we're really close. We're neighbors.
That's easy. That makes it easy for everyone to find there. All right, perfect. So now I know where to go on this Saturday.
Yes, and if you drive in by the motel, you will find parking right there on the left side, and it's a big area. Actually, I believe the motel lets us always use that area, and then you walk through a gate and come into the Pence building to start with. So I think it's very easy to find if you know where those two places are, the Route 29 and 48, and then the Super 8.
Perfect. Then once you'll see a log cabin and a courthouse, you'll know you're in the right place.
Yes, you will.
Perfect. And so you mentioned earlier when we were talking that you got to travel around Illinois a little bit visiting quilt shops. And you named off all the cities you guys went to. Really cool. And these will be displayed, and their business cards will be at the quilt show. Can you explain a little
Yes.
bit about that?
Yes. Well, four of us, we just take an adventure day, and Loretta Law, I have to give her a heads up here because she has been the chairman of the committee. Also, Jenny, who is also part of our group that answers phones out there, she has done a lot for this quilt show too, and Monita. Um, and I mean, I have too. I've helped out.
Of course. Of course.
I drive the group.
Yeah. You mentioned you're the driver.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the driver. Always they say,
Y-
Kale drive.
You guys got to get a chauffeur for that group. so you
That's
guys can
right. And
find
I
some more
don't mind
quilts.
at all. I love to do that.
That's great. That's great. You guys got a good team over there
We
putting this all
do.
together, and you're involved in a few different things throughout the summer, or throughout the year. But you're really involved in everything. And you talked about Christmas. And
Yes, Christmas is one of my favorites,
Yeah.
and that's the big dinner we have. And yeah, we have the persimmon event. We just had Earth Day, which was, despite the chilly weather, it was very successful. So throughout the year, we
Yeah.
do try to do several things so people can enjoy what we have out there. I mean, it's part of a history of Christian County, and it's something that children should learn to know about and appreciate.
I totally agree there. And it's just like some people can be like, oh, Central Illinois, that's boring. But you need to be able to really appreciate like the roots of America really came from a lot of these places in
Yes.
South Central Illinois. So much of Lincoln's
Mhm.
history, you can go and find all that.
It is, and there's a lot around here to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is. You just have to find the time and look it up and go.
Yeah, exactly. And listen to
So-
the WTIM information station to find out.
Absolutely.
So once again, that's the Saturday quilt show. It's coming up soon. And what era of quilt is your favorite? What catches your eye?
I think I appreciate the fact that in the 1800s and early 1900s that people did the quilts by hand.
Yeah.
That's an art. I remember my great grandma. She was wonderful at crocheting and sewing, and she made quilts. And I do have some of her work. Also, I think it was my great grandma on my dad's side that did some craft too.
Wow.
So I think it's important we appreciate that, and there aren't too many times that you find people that are young, real young, wanting to start to do this kind of thing. So when we find one, we really encourage them.
There's kind of been a revival in sewing as of recently with even younger people. Kind of the internet has exposed some of the past traditions like quilting, and now young people are kind of getting started with quilting. It's kinda
Yes,
cool.
so getting started is important, and keeping it going is really important.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't let that die here, right? It's been here since
No.
the 1800s.
No, none of the crafts from the past should be extinct.
Right. I totally agree. And we're doing really good things here with the Christian County Historical Society. You guys are keeping them alive. And we're about to take our first short little break here. Do you want to lay out one last thing about today's Saturday?
Saturday, you can arrive at 10, and we will go till 2, and then the community band will be there to perform after that.
Perfect. All right. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit more about that municipal band that'll be there and some more of the projects that the Christian County Historical Society puts out every year for the community. It's been great. I'm sitting down with Kay Freevert with the Christian County Historical Society. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show. We'll be right back.
Your information station, WTIM. information station. WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM information station. My name is Tim Zalabak. It's time now to continue the WTIM morning show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. Now let's get right back into it. I'm here with Kay Freevert. We're talking about the Christian County Historical Society and their quilt show this Saturday. Before we get right back into it, Kay, I want you to lay out just the date and time of this and where everyone can go for information.
All right. Well, first of all, I'll give you the address again, 325 Abe's Way in Taylorville. And it's at the east junction of routes 29 and 48 by Super 8. And you turn like you were going to Super 8, and there's going to be a big parking area on your left when you park. Then you come through our gate and you walk to the Pence building, which is where all the quilts will be displayed that have been brought in. The quilts that are donated through the they are going to be in the other buildings that are going to be open, which includes the courthouse where Lincoln presided. It includes the log cabin and the Woodall, the Morrison House, and those are all wonderful buildings that people enjoy. So those quilts will be in there, and then we will have tours available if people would like to take a tour. We expect between 40 and 70 quilts. That's what we've had in the past, and so that's what we are looking forward to. We also will be accepting today quilts from 3 to 7. So if you have a quilt you'd like to have displayed, you can bring it in today or tomorrow from 10 to 3 or Friday from 10 to 3. We are going to have a bed turning, which if people haven't seen that, that's very interesting. And that'll be at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And we on Saturday are open from 10 to 2. At 2 o'clock, the municipal band, jazz band, will have their concert beginning at 2. And they have been out at the Historical Society since last year. They started to come out for their concerts there. So we look forward to that. We have Jody, our president, will be fixing lunch. And we have a $10 lunch, which includes a barbecue, chips, drink, tea, and lemonade. We also have ice cream floats and sundaes that'll be available. You only have to pay $2 a scoop or $3 a scoop for 2 scoops. We will have a strawberry and chocolate, and then root beer floats. I think there's going to be the judging of the quilts, best of show and first place. Those will be announced during the band concert, actually, at their break time. And the People's Choice, which you vote on the day of the quilt show. Can you think of a question you'd like to ask me?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. No, that was perfect. Thank you for laying all that out. You just did it all for me right there. I'm letting you take the reins. No, I had a question, and this might be a bad question. What's a bed turning?
A bed turning is where all the quilts that they choose for the bed turning are laid out on a bed. And then a person who is talented in this area will display and talk about each of those as they're pulled up.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You guys got some vendors for this as well, for the raffle and things.
As far as people coming and vending, actually this time we are doing almost everything ourselves.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool.
yeah, we're providing the lunch and doing all of the tours ourselves, and anything for sale would include the lunch.
Okay. Perfect.
And the good treats.
Awesome. So the lunch and the ice cream will be paid for, and that's kind of paying for the event. That's great. That is great. So the People's Choice and the Best of Show, do those ever win together, or is that ever the same quilt?
No.
Okay.
usually the best of show. Well, I don't know. Last year, I don't think so. I think we had a best of show in a first place. I could be wrong on that, but I guess it would be possible if you vote, if the judge voted for the best of show, and then also that quilt got first place. But I think our intent was to have two separate awards.
Of course. I just want to know if there was ever the shining star of all quilts there that everyone's had to vote
Well,
on.
we're flexible.
Of course.
You just never know.
All right. You just never know. So the quilt show is this Saturday. They're already accepting quilts today. So
Yes.
they can call preferably before you show up. But if you don't, they'll still accept you. They're easy over there with the Historical Society. Kay, we got just about a minute left. Can you leave the listeners with anywhere they can go to find information or one last words about the quilt show on Saturday?
Yes. I think I said $5 for a cover charge, and 16 and under age are free.
Perfect.
We do have a site, and I guess I could say www.christiancountyhistorical.com, but we recently did some new work on that. So I hate to tell someone and then I'm wrong. I would rather, let me give you this too. cchs254@gmail.com.
Perfect. That's where you can go for information on the quilt show for Saturday. Thank you so much for being on with us today, Kay. It was great.
I thank you.
Absolutely. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.